They say that you get what you pay for, but if you're about to put money down on a house, you may be paying for what you get. That's why you need a home inspector, someone who can tell you everything you need to know about your house. But who's inspecting? The home inspector. As part of our My Home series, we're at a house that's on the market currently, and we're with David Colasari and J.R. Burke. They're both from the National Association of Home Inspectors. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Now, this is a big deal for people. You buy a house, it's probably the biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your life. You need a home inspector. JR, what exactly is a home inspector going to do for us?
They're going to do a visual, non-invasive inspection. They're going to help you point out the things that are wrong with the home today. It's a snapshot in time. They may not be able to point out everything that's going to happen in the future, but they're going to point out some red flags for you. What I often say is a home inspector is a lot like a family physician. What that means is when you show up to the office, they're going to help you diagnose the problem and help you figure out if you need additional diagnoses down the road.
Okay, so we're outside of this house. It is hot out here. Let's go inside and maybe diagnose what's going on in here.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Come on. Okay, so when I was getting ready for this, I wanted to do a little research on home inspectors, so I went to the phone book. I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not, just to look for home inspectors in my area. There were like 600.
Yeah.
So how does a consumer find a home inspector when they need one?
Well, as a rule of thumb, you're going to get what you pay for. What that means is not every home inspector is created equal. So what you want to do as a consumer, you want to do your own homework. You want to go out, determine if the person belongs to an association like NAHI, figure out if licensing is required in your state, and so on, and just make sure that they're the right inspector for you.
Okay, so David, doing your homework, it could be kind of a tough task, I would think, for a consumer to do. How do you know if you're getting somebody that you trust once you've looked a little deeper?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I guess I don't expect the consumer to know everything about the home inspection industry nationwide, but a couple of easy questions you could ask the inspectors. One, how many inspections have they done? Also ask how long they've been in business. Ask if they're state certified in their particular state that they're doing the inspection. Some require certification, some don't. And most importantly, ask if they've belonged to a national association such as NAHI.
Now, I was just going to be blunt here. This is the first time that I've heard of the National Association of Home Inspectors. How do we know as consumers that we can trust you guys?
Well, myself, along with members of my board of directors, we've actually worked with state legislators and regulators across the country to help on a state-by-state basis determine the level of professionalism required to be a home inspector. That means standards of practice, code of ethics, to make sure that they've reached that level that the state requires. We've also lobbied extensively with members of Congress and federal regulatory agencies to help them do the same thing.
Wow, now that's what I like to hear. Now, I also like to hear, David, you are not only the president of the National Association of Home Inspectors, or NAHI, you also are a home inspector.
Yes, I am.
So we're going to get down and dirty today.
I can't wait. Let's do it.
In fact, folks at home, you're going to learn a few things. We're going to go around this house, whether you're buying a home or selling a home. We'll show you a couple of things that you need to look out for. You ready, David?
I can't wait.
So, David, what are we looking at first here?
Well, Beth, this is real simple. I'm looking at trip hazards and safety hazards. We have an amateurly installed sidewalk here. You can see they're just pavers. People can trip on them, fall on them. Same thing with this amateurly installed patio. They can trip. Also, houses with balconies, they may have balusters that are far apart where children can actually stick their heads through and create a safety hazard that way.
Wow.
Stairs that are unlevel. Real simple trip hazards that every house has and that the homeowner who's selling the house could eliminate without, spending a whole lot of money.
It's a good thing we didn't trip on those trip hazards back there.
Yeah, that's for sure. Beth, here's another real simple thing that home inspectors look at. It's the grading around the house. For every 1 foot away from the home, the grading should go down about an inch. If you can extend that ratio 4 to 6 feet away from the house, that's what we consider proper grading, okay? If it is not that way, over long term, it may affect the home, okay? Another thing that's real simple are the gutters. In this particular situation, we have gutter guards. Some of them are collapsed. That may hamper the flowage of the water. Also, this particular gutter is lower than this gutter.
Oh.
So that you might get some ponding in this area. You want all of the gutters to be directed towards this downspout and then directed away from the home about 6 feet.
Wow.
Okay, Beth, the last thing I'm going to show you outside is some amateur wiring. This is something home inspectors find all the time. First of all, if you look at this light fixture outside, it's broken. It's hanging by its wires. Obviously, it's not in good condition. But most importantly, if you look at this wire that's coming to the light fixture, it doesn't have a bushing going to the fixture. It's just kind of hanging there. It's just amateurly installed, and there could be some safety hazards there. And this is something routinely that home inspectors find on properties. Now, Beth, let's head back inside where I can show you a couple more things.
Okay.
Well, Beth, now we're going to look at some basic plumbing underneath the sink. Common things that home inspectors find are amateur plumbing or leaks. In this particular application, there are no leaks, but we can see that there has been some leaking, and there has been some pipes that have been replaced. But most importantly, looking back here, it looks like we have some caulk, and that we indicate as amateur plumbing. Even though this doesn't leak today, it's something that may leak in the future. So therefore, that particular situation here that you might want to get a plumber to look at it and just to verify that everything's working okay for you. Here's another real simple thing that home inspectors look for. Beth, look up here. This particular filter is a intake for a furnace and an air conditioner. As you can see, it's not really clean. It tells the home inspector that this unit hasn't really been properly taken care of, and it could mean that there's more internal issues. This actually should be clean and should be maintained once a month. Again, this particular situation, a home inspector is going to focus in a little bit, more on.
That's gross. Looks like I've been taken care of in years.
I agree.
This has been so informative. I've learned so much from you today.
Well, I'm glad you did.
I'm ready to put my house on the market. Will you inspect it for me?
I'll be there.
Thank you, both of you, so much for being here today.
Thank you.
It's been really, really a pleasure. Now, if you are looking for a home inspector, or if you want to learn more about the National Association of Home Inspectors, you can check out their website, which is nahi.org.